All right. Well, hello everyone. Greetings. My name is Natalie Gelbvaks. I'm happy to present my capstone. The name of my capstone is Engagement During the Dark, a case study of George Mason University Center for the Arts Plan Renovation. Next. Next one. Theater lovers appreciate every moment of the theater event. So, from choosing the show they want to see until seeing the curtain rise right before their eyes. So, to see the theater lighted up is to be able to be connected with it. Therefore, when the theater goes dark, that means going under renovation. In this case, audience feel they just don't have a place to engage anymore. And since the Center for the Arts is going to be dark for a while because it's going under renovation, we can expect a lack of audience engagement. To solve this issue, the center needs to consider the characteristic of its current audience and also previous successful strategies tested on the field to be able to continue to serve its mission to the community. The Center for the Arts is George Mason University's main home for the performing arts on the Fairfax campus, you can see in the picture. Also, the major demographic include older people. It welcomes hundreds of thousands of people to enjoy arts experiences every year and also serve as a professional development space for the faculty and students of the College of Visual and Performing Arts. This capstone will analyze other two performing arts organizations, Arena Stage in Washington, D.C., and Alliance Theater in Atlanta, Georgia. They both went through big renovations that took a long time, and we're going to explore the strategies they use to keep their patrons engaged. Next. Moving on to background and rationale, you can see the Center for the Arts Concert Hall in the picture. George Mason is Virginia's largest public research university, and the College of Visual and Performing Arts offers a number of programs and performance spaces for the faculty and for the students to train and take classes in. The Center for the Arts showcases national and international artists, as well as accomplished faculty and emerging student artists. The Center for the Arts mission is to make the arts an intrinsic part of the life of every George Mason University student and area resident. The great performances at Mason season is integral to the college mission, providing a diverse program of engaging, enlightening, and entertaining cultural experiences for the university community, as well as Northern Virginia and the entire Greater Washington, D.C. area. Next. As you can see, next, Brie. As a premier destination for the arts in Northern Virginia, the Center for the Arts is a major educational, cultural, and civic asset for the region. You can see the logo in the picture. However, expectations of the artists, audiences, and the students and the community have changed because it's been 30 years since the center first opened. Therefore, a renovation was announced. And nowadays, basically, audience want a more dramatic experience and also more technology, to name a few examples. And respecting the original and with a bold rethinking of the performance in public spaces, the new center will secure its place as a premier destination of the performing arts at George Mason University. And as mentioned before, we're going to explore on this capstone, Arena Stage and Alliance Theater. Arena Stage did its renovation in 2000 and finished in 2010. And Alliance Theater did its first major renovation after 50 years. So it opened in 68 and did the renovation 2018. Next. Moving on, we're going to see the literature review, and you can see the Center for the Arts lobby. Next. So this is my literature review. I decided to research three topics, and they are patron loyalty, motivation of audiences, and audience engagement. Patron loyalty first. So research among the field indicates that although satisfaction is linked to loyalty, its impact depends mostly of prior experiences that the person has with the relationship, with the brand or with the organization, excuse me. And it's believed that long-standing and happy customers are more loyal, meaning they will be more likely to provide recommendation, doing positive word of mouth, and so on. Prior experiences with the brand also affect translation of satisfaction into loyalty. And as I found in my research, the author Olivia Gillen, she states that loyalty in the performing arts has multiple manifestations. And by understanding those manifestations, cultural organization can actually offer multiple loyalty policies and benefit from it. And said manifestations are the frequency of attendance, longevity of patronage, propensity to subscribe to a season, subscribers, making recommendation, and advance reservation. Moving on to motivation of audiences. Motivations are the goals and the values drive behavior and is a trigger that leads somebody to act on an unmet need. I found in my research 4 motivational typologies for theater goers, and they are escapism and entertainment, edutainment, personal enrichment, and social hedonism. I also found in my research the most important goals for arts attendees are emotions, entertainment, self-fulfillment, and educational development. And I found the least important performing goals for performing art attendees. They are being part of a group, social prestige, and the opportunity to dress up, which is very interesting, especially in a time right now where people are consuming arts online. Moving on to audience engagement, I found Wolf Brown, which is a nonprofit consultant group, and they present 4 categories of engagement programs, and they are engagement via technology, collaborations and partnerships, experimentation with setting, and participatory engagement. I also found in my research the term difficult brand and constraint availability. Constraint availability is one characteristic of difficult brand and arises from the gap in time between the performance offerings, meaning there's a void in activity. So the brand is available only at particular times. One of the approaches to deal with difficult brand and constraint availability is persistent presence, meaning the cultivation of a relationship between the organization and the consumer. And under research is also stated that web-based technologies provide a cost-effective manner to do it and a very consistent way to do it. But I also found 5 key factors that are not related to technology that should be taken into consideration. And they are physical and visual elements, season and performances, national reputation, artistic product, and personalities. Next. And moving on to my research findings, you can also see the Center for the Arts. I decided to go with a comparative chart with the reasons for innovation for the 3 organizations that I'm looking. So I see the age of the building is a big factor, reduction of capacity of seats as well, and they are in bold. And in the case of the center, the building reflected a different university. Now the mission and the programming is more solid, and the new building needs to reflect that. And also the theatrical spaces, it's too analogical right now, and it needs to be more digital, more including the digital world. Next. So as stated before, manifestations of loyalty to the performing arts organizations do exist, and one of them is to be a subscriber. Arena Stage, for example, has many benefits to the subscribers. I talked to Lindsay Pisani from Arena. She's a senior director of sales and audience service of Arena Stage, and she mentioned that the most important folks to engage in renovation are subscribers because obviously those are the most loyal to you and also require more insurance and they're getting what they want, and they should definitely not be ignored during renovation. And during their renovation, the subscribers stayed very loyal. Also, Lindsay shared that if she could turn back time, she would have done focus groups and have included the subscribers. And this way, she thinks that maybe Arena could have made better decisions regarding accessibility and regarding comfort by getting their input, and also make them excited about the building and what's to come. So it's a way to keep them engaged. Alliance Theater also offers benefits to subscribers. During my conversation with the brand journalist of Alliance Theater, her name is Ariel Tinter, she said that subscribers, they don't really like change, which made Alliance lose, unfortunately, a few patrons during the renovation time. And the Center for the Arts also offer benefits to the subscribers. And in my conversation with Julie Thompson, the executive director of the Center for the Arts, she shared a fear about losing subscribers, especially because they are older and it's hard to keep the older patrons. They're not as adaptable as the younger audience and definitely not the most flexible audience. Next. Moving on, I decided to do a chart, comparative chart with the organizations and the audience engagement strategies, comparing with the Wolf Brown framework that I presented earlier on my literature review. And the Center for the Arts hasn't done the renovation yet, and that's why the majority of the boxes are empty. So I'm going to go one by one. The first one is engagement via technology. So a lot of audience engagement revolves around creative uses of technology, and the struggle is how to make a more interactive conversation and not really a one-way conversation. Arena Stage, for example, thank you, created a virtual scavenger hunt around the entire city, and also during the time of the renovation, their Washington D.C. Patrons did not want to commute to the theater partner, so they decided to use the information of having their addresses and use an app to show them the route from their houses to the theater partner, to show them it's not so distant, you can still go. That was one way to deal with this. And Alliance Theater did time-lapse videos to show them the process of the renovation and keep them excited. And moving on to collaborations and partnerships. So that means arts groups are seeking out partners. So Arena Stage was able to utilize the space in Crystal City and also in U Street to continue to provide programming. Alliance had many different partnerships because they did a whole initiative around Atlanta. So they had many different partners, and the Center for the Arts is thinking of having a theater partner. Moving on to experimentation with setting. This is about the creative uses of setting because this is already part of the artistic experience. Alliance Theater, for example, matched different shows, different venues, which I thought it was such a cool initiative. For of time, I'm not going to go too deep into it, but I thought it was really cool. According to the team of the show, they just matched and they had one person working just on this. And the next one is participatory engagement. This involves some form of physical or creative expression. Alliance did Alliance Theater on the Road, and this idea was to, the Alliance was offering an adventure to the Atlanta people. They even had a passport to stamp after going to different theaters, and they could get benefits after completing some certain amount of stamps. Next. And in this section, I made a comparative chart with the strategies being done right now during the COVID-19 situation. The strategies are relevant to the conversation because, of course, all the theaters are now dark, so they're having to promote initiatives. Arena Stage is hosting virtual programs, doing Molly Salon virtual dance, to name a few examples. Alliance Theater is offering virtual resources, virtual streaming, virtual coaching. And the Center for the Arts is doing the initiative of Mason Arts at Home, which showcase performances, have conversations online with filmmakers, with artists, and the Center for the Arts is seeing the response of the initiatives doing online. Next. Moving on to my recommendations to the Center for the Arts. So the first one is to develop focus groups and include especially the subscribers to discuss what changes they want to see in the building, gather input, make them feel engaged, also taking into account their fear of losing them because they are older. This could be a good way to keep them interested and not afraid of the change. This could be a way to thank you. This could be a way for them to feel the change step by step and not really all at once. The second recommendation is a persistent presence approach that I presented earlier. So this is one way to keep the relationship between brand and consumer. Because of COVID-19, the Center for the Arts can see already the responses from some of their initiatives. But one thing that is important to consider is a persistent presence is not really meant to be done only online and also meant to be done with non-technological ways as well. So they should definitely consider that when exploring that approach if they decide to. And the third one is participatory engagement, which although the Center for the Arts, which is one of the strategies presented by Wolf Brown, and although the Center for the Arts is not really thinking of taking programming to many different venues, participatory engagement should definitely be something they should explore, since the Center for the Arts already has initiatives like this, and they should definitely continue exploring that. Next, Bree. And I just want to take 1 second to thank everyone for my Capstone class, and I have a list of people, but family and friends, the one who are here, they literally help me every day. And also I like to say that I learned a lot during my interviews and this experience with Capstone. Next. This is my bibliography. You can keep going, Bree. And bibliography and bibliography. And this is it.
Natalie. And
thank you very much. Thank you.
And now we'll go to your readers. And we'll start with
Yeah.
Julie Thompson, and then we'll have Rick come in after.
Thank you.
Great. Hey, Natalie, great job. Actually, I just have a comment, and that's actually this capstone topic became incredibly topical just because of all of a sudden we're in COVID-19, and we all of a sudden discovered what it was like to all of a sudden not have an audience in our door and try to keep ourselves relevant. Right. So I really want to compliment you on sort of picking up on that and kind of giving us what a scenario sort of came through. So thanks for that part of that.
Okay. I'm sorry, I missed the part of it because it went dark.
Oh, that's okay. I just saying that I was very appreciative of the fact that you were able to introduce the COVID-19 scenario into your capstone. It seemed very timely because talking about a venue that has to go down for a year and a half. We're sort of in that dress rehearsal stage right now with COVID-19 and not sort of having live performances, which is great. The other question I have for you is, were you able to find out from either Arena or Alliance if there was, did they lose subscribers? If so, how many? What was sort of the end game on all that?
They lost a few subscribers during the renovation, especially so Arena stage person said they actually stayed very loyal, so they didn't have too much of a loss there. But with Alliance, she did mention and emphasize even that they had a loss of subscribers during the renovation, but mostly because sometimes people, because they did such a great initiative all over town, which I think it's impressive. They unfortunately lost a few people because of it, because many people just didn't want to commute to all these places, or they didn't have the transportation ways to do it. So she emphasized they lost a lot, but when they came back to the official site, they kind of came back, so the numbers even out.
Great, thanks.
Did that respond to your question?
Absolutely, thanks.
Okay.
Yes. Rick Davis.
And thank you so much for the interview, Julie. She was one of my people.
You're welcome. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
Well, also, I want to say great work, Natalie. It's really very, very timely and useful to us. I think there's a couple things that I want to steal going forward that you discovered. I think
that's the plan.
Exactly. I mean, the Arena stage app thing, which I'd only heard about, and you put some flesh on that, and also the passport idea from Alliance, I think, is a great idea. I think it's inevitable that when we go dark, we will be performing all over the place. Not just one or two venues, and having an incentive like that, and it's kind of a fun idea as well. So I think I do have one question that goes back to your initial literature review, and it has to do with, well, we always talk about, especially lately the last couple of years, we talk about the arts create community as sort of our motto. We use it all the time, and it's become a very, I think, signature phrase. Simple, obvious, but also deeply connected to our mission. And you had one slide in one of those frameworks about.
Can we go back, Bree? I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, there was
the literature review, right?
Slide about, here it is, high motivation and low motivation. And I see something interesting here. I see social hedonism as a high motivation item, and then I see being part of a group and social prestige, which is different but related, as low motivation items. And I wonder how that reconciles, because when I hear social hedonism, I think, okay, I mean, hedonism is pleasure seeking, right? But connecting the word social to pleasure seeking or hedonism is somewhat, to me, it feels the same as being part of a group. So I'm wondering how we differentiate those two, and ultimately how it all relates to our big motto, the arts create community. Should we abandon that, or should we understand it differently?
I definitely don't think you should abandon it. So that part of the literature review, I compared a bunch of different authors. So the part is actually part of one research, and then the second one is other, because people in that section, especially in motivation of audiences, this was the part that I had most difficulty, I think, to find some consistency.
Yeah.
So first I found, okay, museum people like this, and then I had to find people, okay, so we can apply this for performing arts attendees people. Then people were saying this is not enough. We need to consider those here. So those are actually two conversations.
Okay, that
Yeah, those are
helps.
two
Yeah.
conversations, which I think it makes sense now that you say. I did not think of that. Now that you mentioned, it makes sense. But yeah, those are two different conversations. And in my paper, yes, I explain a little further, and you might be able to rethink what we're talking when you get the chance to read it. But yeah, I think the
Yeah, no,
big part
that
of it
helps.
that helps. Yeah, but I think it's still. Because I think what we promote in Mason and about the arts create community is still very connected to emotions as well. I think that being
Yes.
part of a group is basically the physical thing of being there, but
Okay.
the emotions are still part of it, which I think it's including the most important goal. So I think it's still important. That sentence, 'cause I think it still makes sense.
Okay, no, that's very helpful. And I also think there is
Yeah.
a different, depending on your source, whether they're primarily interested in sort of the visual arts or the
Mm-hmm.
performing arts or even film, which is
Mm-hmm.
kind of a
Mm-hmm.
intermediate experience category.
Right.
There are different group dynamics involved in all of those experiences.
Right.
They all create community, but they do it in different ways.
Yes, and people were saying on my research, I didn't put because there's no time to say everything on the presentation, but yes, and sometimes we expect that it's going to be something from the visual arts attendees, like they want education and they want I don't know, something smart and fancy, and was recreation, So people were actually surprised with the findings they had. And I put that on my paper, but that was a little hard. There was a lot of conversation, so I kind of summarized it, but I think the sentence still makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, very good. Thank you. And
Yeah. Thank you
excellent.
for the
Just
question.
good work overall.
Thank you so much, Dean Davis. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Great. Do we have any other questions or comments from the faculty or your colleagues? Yes, we have a question from June.
Okay. I can't hear you speaking.
Yeah, June, we can't hear you. Is your mic on? Yeah.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, Natalie. It's a very good
Hi.
presentation. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And you have a
Thank you.
slide to talk about the Center for the Arts has a large demographic for of the older people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my question.
It's I think it's the second brief. Sorry, go back one more. One more. This one. Yeah, this one. Thanks. The
Yes.
second one.
So my question is, does the renovation do anything for the old people to access to these people?
Can you ask again? I'm not sure I got it.
My question is, does the
What?
renovation do anything for the old people to access to them?
You mean the results? If they're gonna bring better results for them?
Yes. Or they have any plan to?
Or
You mean
special
space-wise?
accommodations made for that demographic? Is that what you're asking, June?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess just by being more technological and meaning basic renovation things, 'cause, so they're gonna renovate elevators, the space in general, doing a more intimate. They're gonna take seats away. They're gonna put aisles, and I don't know how to explain all the details, unfortunately, because that wasn't the focus of the space itself. But I think overall, it's gonna facilitate their lives, by having those new technological accommodations. It's not gonna be so much technological like stuff on like good. Thank you, Jim Davis. Good answer. I think it's gonna be because it's not gonna be like cell phones and stuff like that, but the space itself being more renewed is going to be more comfortable for everyone, including them. That's my point of view. Yeah.
Thank you.
And Natalie, this is Julie. I'm just going to pipe in. That's actually would be an excellent topic for one of our focus groups that you suggest we have.
Yes. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, definitely. And focus groups I did not mention also in the presentation, but I also mentioned in the paper more thoroughly. There's some research about it and how it can be very productive for the organization. So you have to have, the questions, the topic, and what you want to get from them to be able to make good decisions. And make sure you know who you're including in them.
So I'm afraid we have to end this presentation because we need to be able to move on to the next. As you can see, you have sparked quite a lot of conversation. I'm sure there will be some follow-up. And by its very nature, you have already changed the thinking around this issue. And I want to commend you for doing a really fantastic job of defining the problem in your research and then presenting a very professional array of well-researched options to solve that problem.
Thank you, Amy. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.